Hey everybody! So I was browsing around the internet the other day and I noticed that there was this article from 2002 that had recently resurfaced, which featured Miyamoto talking about Super Mario Sunshine. What they were talking about was that they somewhat regretted those secret stages, and how that they had made the secret stages required in order to access the final level of the game. So I remember really struggling with those secret stages as a kid, and I felt like, hey, why don't I just go back through all of them and give it another try and see what I think about them? I saw a lot of hate on Reddit and other places, but especially Reddit, regarding these stages, so I know they're unpopular, but were they really that bad? There's 11 in total if you count Goopy Inferno, which I want to because while you don't have Flood, you must complete it to access the rest of the game, so fits with the theme. One last thing to mention though before we get started here, the save file that I'm using already had some of these sections beaten, so when you go back in, the game gives you Flood back. So just ignore that I have Flood. I will not be using Flood during these replayed sections. Let's go though, and let's see if Miyamoto was right all those years ago. Oh yeah! Well, get ready to hear that a bunch. So as this is the first one that we're gonna look at, it's very straightforward. Really, you just need a bit of camera manipulation in order to better see what you're doing. And as long as you're patient, you shouldn't have too hard of a time here. That brings us right into the next one, The Secret of the Dirty Lake. This is our first introduction to those rotating plastic blocks. I really like these because Mario won't slip on them. That's gonna be the second one down, so let's head on over to The Secret of Rico Harbor. This one gives us our first introduction to the rotating wooden blocks, which are slightly more slippery than the plastic blocks, and these things, they are extremely slippery. My only advice here is try your best not to jump. Once that's out of the way though, bit of an easy romp. Now we have the Dunebud Sandcastle secret. This is going to be our introduction to the disappearing sand blocks that will show up in other maps. Once again, smart camera manipulation is the name of the game. You got to get the speed up and you got to get your kick flips down in order to bounce your way all the way up to the top. Let's move on to the Shell secret in Noki Bay. This one is going to be really tough if you haven't gotten a few under your belt, so maybe come back later. It's gonna take a lot of wall jumps and a lot of kick flips. There's a tightrope section, you gotta climb up a pole, it's a whole thing. And you know what? I saw a lot of people saying that this one was by far the worst. I do not agree. Heading right on over to the Beach Cannon secret. Hey, Yoshi's Island. This one is gonna have a bunch of disappearing blocks and is the only one in which you're gonna have to be dealing with this. I highly recommend getting familiar with the dive jump combo to rapidly move forward as fast as possible to clear the longer stretches. Not the worst thing in the world. The hotel lobby secret. Now, first of all, Serena Beach, the best, a phenomenon, my favorite. But moving into the section, I think this one is going to be the hardest one to test camera manipulation. It is easy to walk right off the map if you can't get a clear view of what's going on, and you have to deal with the mother of all these bastard rotating blocks. Same area, the secret of Casino Delfino. is frankly easy. Everything is super slow. There's slow blocks sliding around, slow columns coming out of the walls, and a slow, simple, rotating trip up to the shine sprite. After that, head on over to the Yoshi Go Round secret. Also, Frogger, anyone? This one's another relatively easy one to get under your belt if you want to spend some time and get used to moving without FLUDD. Couple jumps. You nailed it. All right, so controversial, but Goopy Inferno is the next one up. And I only say controversial because it's not a secret stage, but you don't have FLUDD, and it's going to test most of the same skills that you're going to be using in the other secret stages. So, you know what, damn it? I'm going to count it. All right, let's see here. Let's see how this goes. No, you're too bad! Finally, we have the secret of the village underside. Ugh. I hate this one. It's the Chuckster one. It's the one everyone knows. It's the one where the angle at which you talked to the Pianta matters. It's the one where you can't control yourself as you fly off. Ridiculous. Anyway, just stick with it. It can be done, and in reality, there's only a few jumps you actually have to make in order to get to the Shine Sprite. Well, that was an adventure. I'm able to confirm that you are not allowed to move on to the final segment of the game until you can beat these. Technically, it's because you have to beat a later stage in each world, but you can't get to that later stage until you clear all these secret ones. That seems a little unreasonable to me. I remember never being able to do it back in the day, so I think a lot of people were in that boat if that's most of the feedback that they received. In that same interview, as a matter of fact, they said they wanted it to feel like the idea of, well, I tried it 200 times and I died a whole bunch, but it was a lot of fun. Which I agree with, but honestly, I also agree with what they say right after that. It should not have locked the rest of the game away until you were able to do it. This was a super fun one to make. Thank you all so much, as always, for checking out my channel, and have a great rest of the day.